Are you feeling frustrated with your loved one that has depression? Maybe it's a spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend or a friend. Do you feel like you don't know what to do? Do you feel stuck? I'm here to talk about how to support a loved one that has depression, what kinds of treatment are out there, what you can do, what things you shouldn't do, and what to do when your loved one doesn't want treatment. My name is Lia Huynh. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I specialize in working with couples and families. If you are somebody that is in a couple relationship or in a family where one of your loved ones has depression, then this video is for you. So let's just dive in. The first thing I want to do is I just want to empathize with those of you that have loved ones with depression and to say thank you for being here, because it shows that you really care about this person, and hopefully this video can give you some tips on how to move forward. The first thing that you want to be aware of is kind of the do's and don'ts of how to support your loved one. I think lots of people, have you included, that's why you're here, have lots of good intentions. We want our loved ones to feel better. It breaks our heart when we see them depressed. And so we want them to kind of like get out of the funk, maybe snap out of it, maybe see things in a new way. And as a result, sometimes people will say things like, just think positive, or you have so much to be grateful for. Like, there's nothing wrong with your life right now. You don't need to be depressed, or just get outside and exercise, or just, for those of us that are of faith, just pray and read your Bible, or just go find a hobby. And I think that those things are really good, and I agree with you. Those are things that when you're depressed, you need to be doing those things. However, it's usually not that simple, right? Just getting outside, going for a walk, those things are helpful, but depression is oftentimes multifaceted, and it has to do with your brain chemistry, things that won't be solved by just going for a walk or by just going out with your friends one day. It can make a person that feels debilitated with depression feel very dismissed and very misunderstood and very alone. So what you want to do is you want to come alongside them and you want to empathize with them, right? Put yourself in their shoes, right? I don't know if you've ever been sad before, right? Or if you've ever not wanted to feel disappointed, but you just did, and it stuck with you for a while, right? You really want to let them know that you're there with them. Hey, like, it must be really tough to be going what you're going through. Maybe I don't understand, but I'm there for you. Right? Or it must be really hard that you can't get out of bed every day, or it must be really hard, some of these thoughts that you're thinking. Hey, like, I'm here to cheer you up. I'm here to talk with you, whatever you need. I'm here to cry with you. I'm here to laugh with you. Whatever you need, I'm here, right? So you want to have that kind of mentality versus telling your loved one what to do as a solution to their depression, right? You really want to walk with them, and you want to show them that you are there with them and you support them right where they're at. Now, it doesn't stop there, right? You want to show that you support them. The next step is you also want to show them the way to get better, right? You want to encourage them to get treatment. What I mean by that is sometimes treatment is stigmatized, right? People have thoughts like, oh, if I go to therapy, that means that I can't solve my problems on my own. Or if I get medication, then it means that, I'll be dependent on a drug to be happy. All of those things are myths. And what our loved ones need from us is just a normalization that, hey, depression is a real thing, because it is, right? If you look at brain scans, you can see that certain parts of the brain are more lit up, some parts are diminished. It's a real disease and a real condition. And just like anyone would get, if you have diabetes, you would go and get insulin, or if you have a heart disease, you would get a heart medication. Same thing with depression, right? If you're sick, you'll go to the doctor, right? You'll get treatment. And we really want to just make that clear with the people that we love, that, hey, there's no judgment from us. We just want you to get help, and it's okay, right? Seeing a therapist is totally fine. Lots of people see therapists, from celebrities to CEOs. Everyone needs a little bit of help from time to time, right? In the olden days, we had multi-generational families where you could go to your elder, or you could go to the community leader. Right now, especially in big cities, you've got these nuclear families, and people can be pretty isolated. It's hard to know what to do when you haven't had a situation happen before. You can't figure out everything on your own. That really is unrealistic. So destigmatizing therapy for your loved one is also going to be really helpful. Now I want to go over some different treatment methods that you can propose or maybe even look up for your loved ones, right? So the main ones are therapy and medication, right? Those two are, I would say, the most researched and the most promoted by medical doctors. Is that therapy and medication is kind of like a 1-2 punch. And then you've got other types of therapies like acupuncture, naturopathic medicine, like supplements. You've got herbal medicine, so like Chinese medicine. There's TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. A lot of insurances actually will pay for that. You can do some mind-body type therapies where if there's trauma that's stuck in your body, they'll help you do some movement to help get some of that trauma out. And then there's also alternative type therapies like ketamine-assisted therapy. So there's a lot of different types of therapies that one can use, and I would say unfortunately it's kind of like a trial and error, but I would always recommend people to start with therapy and or medication. Those are the main two. Oh, the other thing I forgot was there's intensive outpatient. So if things get really serious, there's these programs where you go like every day for a few hours, and they have group therapy, and they have like different kinds of therapies available, and they have a psychiatrist on board that can really help you if it's something that you need every day, because sometimes seeing a therapist once a week is not enough. The next thing that I would encourage people to do is to encourage your loved ones to engage in healthy habits, right? So healthy sleep, healthy eating, exercise, some kind of spiritual practice, I think is like meditation, prayer, that kind of thing is always really helpful. Now, I wouldn't say you should do this one thing in order to not be depressed. It's much more multifaceted, but you want to encourage them to do these habits because these kinds of habits are good for your brain and they're going to help you recover quicker. And the one thing I want to talk about is sleep, right? So sleep can impact your mental health severely. So if you are the type of depressed person, or you have your loved one is the type of depressed person that struggles with insomnia, some people that are depressed sleep too much, they have hypersomnia. If they have insomnia, I really recommend finding some kind of sleep aid, right? Whether it's through your doctor or something that is herbal. Having that sleep is really going to be helpful, and not getting that sleep can oftentimes set you back. So really prioritize the sleep. If you're going out for a walk, ask your loved one, ask your spouse, hey, I'm going for a walk, do you want to come? Those kinds of things, really encouraging them to find those healthy habits, whatever they can or are willing to do. Now, a lot of times if they can't do those things, like they can't get out of bed, then they'll usually need that medication to give them the boost of dopamine to be willing to do things, right? Because sometimes they just can't move, right? Their bodies are so shut down that they can't even do the things that it takes to be healthy, right? And that's a good sign that maybe you need to see your doctor. The next thing that you want to look out for as helping a person with depression is you want to be aware for self-harm, right? Because that's pretty serious. So if they are having thoughts of self-harm or talking a lot about self-harm, that's where you know that it's time to see the doctor or to reach out to somebody, maybe a hotline, or, this is not a time to keep everything private, right? This is a time to really get the help from trusted people or from professionals that can really intervene, because at that point it's really tough to get out from that space. And then the next thing I would say is for you as a person that is caring for someone who is depressed, make sure you have the support that you need, right? Because you are dealing with so much. You are dealing with the burden. You are dealing with worrying about your loved one. You are worried about getting your loved one treatment and finding different ways for them to be motivated. It can take a toll on you, right? Because you will also, if it is your spouse, right, you're probably picking up extra chores. There's just so many things that you're doing that you need your own support. So make sure you're getting, you've got family and friends, or you've got your own therapist that's helping you walk through this, okay? Now, lastly, I want to address, what do you do when your spouse or whoever it is, your loved one, one does not want treatment. And I would say this is really difficult, right? Because they really need all your love and support. However, depending on the severity of their illness, if it is chronic and it is severe and it is something that they are not willing to get treatment for, right? They're in bed all day long for months at a time. They're not working, or they're using drugs and alcohol, or doing things that are very destructive and maybe even toxic to them and maybe even to you, then that's a time where you supporting them turns into enabling, right? If it's going on for a long time, then we don't want the enabling, because the enabling doesn't help them and it hurts you. And if you have kids, it hurts your kids. We want to make sure, we want to give ourselves the permission that if they are saying, no way, I'm not getting help, I'm gonna stay in bed playing video games 24/7 and just use drugs to self-medicate, then of course, don't give up on them right away, right? But if it's happening for a long period of time, then it becomes a situation of like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? You want to say, there's something else that I need to do differently because what I'm doing now is not working. And that's not something I can tell you. I think I'm just saying that that's a time for you to actually get other trusted people involved to help navigate this very tricky situation with you. So again, if this is you, my heart goes out to you. I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any tips of what helped you when you were dealing with a loved one with depression, please put them in the comments below. My website is down below if you want to reach out and just ask a question. Thanks for watching. Take care.